Have you ever given your whole heart to everyone and still felt invisible? Have you ever made others smile but forgotten how to smile yourself? This is the story of a woman who gave so much love to the world that she forgot she deserved some of it too. And when life finally stopped her, she learned a lesson that quietly changes lives. You cannot be whole if you keep breaking yourself just to keep others together. In a small town, nestled near rolling hills, lived a woman named Layla. Everyone knew her, not because she was rich or powerful, but because she was the one who never, ever said no. If someone was sick, Layla would be at their door with a hot meal. If someone was heartbroken, she would stay up all night, just listening, offering a shoulder to lean on. If anyone needed help, no matter how small, she would drop her own work in an instant and rush to their side. People would often say, "Layla is an angel," and maybe she was. But angels get tired too, and no one ever seemed to notice that part. Behind her own closed door, her house was quiet. The dinner she cooked for herself often went cold on the table. Her phone rarely rang with a call just for her, just to ask how she was doing. Each morning, before the sun even thought about rising, Layla would be up. She'd sweep her yard, water her flowers, and then visit Aunt Sarah, an elderly neighbor who lived alone and cherished her company. From there, she went to the village school where she taught young children how to read, how to write, and most importantly, how to dream. Her students adored her. They would run toward her, shouting her name, and she would always greet them with a smile. It was a gentle smile, but if you looked closely, you could see it was also a very tired smile. Every evening when she returned home, that smile would fade. The empty chair at her dining table seemed to stare back at her, a silent reminder of a truth she never dared to speak out loud. She cared for everyone, but no one was really caring for her. One afternoon, while teaching, Layla suddenly felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. The chalk slipped from her hand and clattered on the floor. The classroom started to spin. A fellow teacher rushed forward, her voice filled with concern. "Layla, you look pale. You need to go home and rest." But Layla just shook her head, her voice barely a whisper. "I'll rest later," she said. "There's just too much to do. The school fair is next week and everyone is counting on me." But later never came. On the day of the school fair, Layla was a whirlwind of activity. She organized everything, every stall, every decoration, every last detail for every child. Music filled the air, and the whole village laughed and celebrated. Everyone was happy. Everyone, it seemed, except Layla. While she was arranging the final table, her legs suddenly gave way. She fell not with a crash, but gently, like a leaf floating to the ground. And then, the world went dark. When she opened her eyes, the bright lights of a hospital room blinded her for a moment. There was a needle in her arm and a nurse sitting quietly by her side. The doctor came in and spoke softly. "You fainted from complete exhaustion, Layla. Your body is tired, and your heart needs rest," Layla whispered weakly. "But the school, the fair, I have to." The doctor interrupted her gently, but firmly. "Everything can wait, but your health cannot. You have been giving too much without ever refilling your own cup." Those words echoed in her mind, over and over. Giving too much without refilling your own cup. For the first time in her life, Layla had no answer. She had always been the strong one, the helper, the listener, the one everyone turned to. Now she was the one lying alone in a hospital bed, needing care. That evening, a nurse brought a small single flower in a glass of water to her bedside. "A student left this for you," she said with a warm smile. "His name is Amir." Layla managed a faint smile in return. Amir was a quiet, thoughtful boy from her class. The next morning he visited her himself. He looked worried as he stood by her bed and said softly, "Miss Layla, please get well soon." "We miss you," she thanked him, her voice still weak. As he turned to leave, he hesitated for a moment, then said something that would stay with her forever. My mother says you should love yourself the way you love others. Layla froze. That simple sentence, from the mouth of a child, touched a place deep in her heart she had ignored for years. When she finally returned home a week later, her house looked the same walls, the same table, the same empty chair. But Layla was different. She looked at that lonely chair and whispered to it, "I'm sorry for forgetting you." She decided right then and there to make a change. Not to stop helping others, but to stop abandoning herself in the process. She began with small things. She started eating a proper breakfast before rushing out to help anyone else. She took out her old journal and started writing her thoughts again. She even began to paint, something she hadn't done since she was a girl. In the evenings, she would walk by the lake and just watch the sun melt into the water. Slowly, very slowly, her tired heart began to feel warm again. At school, her students were the first to notice the change. Her smile was brighter. Words like, "I can't do that right now," or "I need some time for myself this evening." At first, people were surprised. But soon, they noticed something else. She was happier, healthier. She seemed more alive than ever. One day, her neighbor, Aunt Sarah, looked at her and said, "You look different, my child. There's a light in your eyes." Layla smiled and replied, "I started giving myself the same kindness I give to everyone else." Months passed. Layla still helped people, but she no longer allowed herself to disappear inside their problems. She listened with compassion, but she protected her own peace. She helped, but she also rested. Her life became steady, like a candle that burns brightly without destroying itself. And quietly, her life taught everyone around her a profound lesson. Self-care is not selfish. It is sacred. One afternoon, young Amir visited her home and pointed to the empty chair at her table. "Miss Layla," he asked with childhood curiosity, "why does no one ever sit there?" Layla smiled softly and said, "That chair is for me. It's my reminder. Whenever I start to forget myself again, I sit there to remember who I am." Years later, people in the village still spoke about Layla, but now, they didn't just say she helped everyone, they said she taught us how to care for ourselves too. And maybe this story is for you. Maybe you are the one who gives too much. Maybe you keep saying yes while your heart is whispering no, feeling utterly exhausted. Remember Layla's lesson. You deserve your own kindness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It's a requirement for strength. Loving yourself is not selfish. It's essential. Take care of your heart, because the world needs your light, not your exhaustion. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content that nurtures the soul. Take care.